stories, but also with his films as well as in the essay. So my question is, is this something that comes naturally, or is it a form that you developed over time? Now, the interesting thing about this humor is also that there's underlying sense of seriousness as well. Not all of the stories, but sometimes there's also some politics of caste or class. Sometimes it could just be about somebody's financial resources, or something that someone wants so badly. So, my question is, could you share more about the role of joy and laughter in life?
First, really sorry for joining late. I was figuring out a network issue.
No problem.
I think our village has the worst network in the world. I'm constantly speaking the fear that this call will disconnect at any point of time.
It's
Uh,
okay. I'm in the same this one, so don't worry. It's okay. We'll just reconnect and start again.
yeah, I think for me, like joy is very important aspect of life. Uh, I mean, like I can take example of film and give an answer. For me, the entertainment fact in a film is very important. It doesn't have to be like in a certain form. It can be in any form, but I really want to be, maybe I think it should be at least engaging, giving like new information like every next frame or next scene. I can't watch boring films. I can't say it as a filmmaker, but as an
Yeah,
audience, I
no,
can
no,
say.
I agree.
I mean, like I want to be entertained. Like, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we make fun of some films. We say they're so boring. The director says action. He switches on the camera and goes, eats food, has his coffee, roam around the village, come back and says cut. That boring the film is. I personally don't like to like watching. Like I want, you know stories, films to be engaging and fun. Uh, I think either it's coming from there or and like in my village, like we have a lot of time to kill, so we always try to do something to entertain ourselves. I think it's coming from there. Uh, if you like ask about like films or stories, a lot of time I feel like uh, they are already there. I'm just documenting them. I'm not actually creating anything new. uh, I may be like just putting it in a frame so that it makes sense or engaging or readable or watchable maybe, but they're already there. I'm not doing anything that none of my villagers has done. All these things like happen to some person or like uh, somebody has done it. So I think it's already there. I don't have it's not something I plan and write or make a film into. uh, Also, I realized uh, I can see these things only when someone like reverse engineer the film or stories. While writing or making, I don't plan it. It just like flows naturally. Because I don't plan it and write or make films. I don't have a certain answer for this. Like, but like I think joy is very important. I think a lot of things we do in our life, for joy, maybe taking a
Yes,
walk
true.
or eating, traveling, watching a film. It's mostly to entertain ourselves and you know have fun.
Thank you, Naveen. I agree. I was supposed to teach Rashomon to a class, and this is not popular opinion, but my students just left through the class, and I was just like, why am I teaching this? I mean, this is supposed to be the film and all of that, but I mean, I was bored, and I even mentioned that in a literature class, and I don't think people think about, the idea of high literature or high films is supposed to be something that's very serious, and you're supposed to see beyond these layers of things. But I completely agree with what you said. Like, if there is no very fundamental emotions to keep hold of us, then it's just pretentious. So yeah, that's something that I enjoy in your work. um, that brings me to the next question. So you also mentioned about how, like, in like this these are things that happen, not something that you're writing, but these are already there. And as in, like, in terms of what you see in your village, the way people interact with each other and things like that. So I have a question for that later, but in terms of the next question, what I'm curious about is, just a minute, yeah. Like, so each of these are different forms of art. So you dabble in writing, you dabble in photography, you dabble in filmmaking. So you're doing some of these things simultaneously and some of these things separately. And I was wondering, how do these three forms sort of interact with each other in your head, and how is the creative process like for you? um yeah, so that's
uh, I I feel like we can only differentiate these things uh, when we are like making a film. Like I like film. I always say it has everything I like. It has like photography, it has writing, it has acting, it has music, it has a bit of traveling, a lot of things. I think we see all of this naturally. I mean, uh, storytelling is like very basic, right? So we see that like around us. We see music around us. Uh, we see, visuals around us. We hear a lot of sound around us. We also, kind of like uh, give certain expressions for certain things. So art, I think, always derives from life, and vice versa also. uh, what was the question? I forgot the question actually.
I was asking
Yeah,
how these
how I
forms.
prepare. Okay, yeah. So I don't have like a process. Uh, I can't. If you ask me to write a story by tomorrow, I can't write. Uh, if you like give me an idea and develop it, I can't develop. Uh, I can't write for others, like when someone else vision. For me, writing is like very personal. It has to like come naturally. Uh, a lot of my friends, such really good writers, they actually say every day they write for 2 hours. I can't. I mean, I I think we can't plan art. At least the starting point of it, we can't plan it. Maybe like there's a uh, one idea that that start haunting us. Maybe a small thing, like smallest of some things, and when we start thinking about it, uh, it kind of starts growing. At least for me, the process is that some like something very minute thing that starts haunting me, and I start thinking around it, and many things that I might have experienced, or my friends have experienced, my family or villagers, or something I heard. Everything starts, coming together, and it like organically starts taking a structure. One day, like once, like I have, in theoretically this, beginning, middle, and end, everything. Once I have,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I'm really happy about it, and it starts giving me kind of kick. Then one day, like, I can't, keep it, inside me anymore. Like, I have to like write it. I have to start writing it. So then I just start and like put it on a paper. I don't take a lot of time usually. Like for track one, like for the first draft, I took 4 hours maybe. Uh, for like a lot of my films, to like just write like from like starting to end, I usually take a less time. But also, not just like typing or writing on paper is writing. I think thinking is also writing. Whatever happening in your
Yeah,
mind
yeah.
before you write, it's also writing. It's I like just like sitting down and like not doing anything. It doesn't mean I'm not doing anything. Maybe like for others, like people who are like watching me, like I'm not doing anything, but a lot of things are going in my head. Like I'm thinking, like ideating. Uh, I think boredom is very important for making art. Uh, yeah, I complain that like with with corporate projects I can't make art because they take most of my mental energy. I might get like some time at the end of the day, but I can't really channelize it towards making art. So I think I don't know if I give the answer, but this is what I think.
Of course. Yeah, I agree. Like, I think, I mean, I don't know, like, this is my work is not in any way as nice as yours because it's PhD. But I relate in the sense that, you need so much free time, and people think that you're doing nothing, but there's something going on in your head constantly, sort of distilling that process. And uh, I mean, to take it in a little bit of a different tangent, but we'll come back. Like a lot of these corporate workspaces, even educational spaces, they just the idea is so much that you keep writing research papers, you keep publishing as if you're a machine. But the if something is coming out of some sort of original thought, then you need time for it to develop. It's not something that you produce like a machine, right? So that's something that I've also been personally thinking about. I also wanted to ask you one question related to this. Like, so when you have an idea, you could also give us an example. So do you think beforehand, like, okay, this is going to be a short story, or this is going to be an essay, or or that it's going to be a film, or you feel like you see it in like all three different formats, and then sort of see how they kind of talk to each other, and then like let it develop or something like that. This is just a curiosity question on my behalf.
I lost you in the middle. Can you ask me like question like
Yeah, yeah,
10
sure.
words?
So when you have that idea, right, like that's something that's in your head, and it's like, okay, I think this will develop into something. Do you think about the form it's going to take? Like, okay, this is going to end up as a film, or this is going to end up as writing, or whatever, or do you sort of simultaneously see how it sort of develops and then work on it?
For me, uh, I think once the idea comes, in the beginning only it takes a form. I don't like plan it.
Oh.
If I'm like writing a film, it doesn't come to me as a story. It comes with visual. It comes with sound. It comes with
Oh,
frames.
that's so
It comes with
nice.
characters. So, yeah, uh, with my filmmaker friends, I usually a lot of times I had this conversation. A lot of them write the story, first like a log line first, then they
Yeah,
develop into a
yeah.
story, then they write the screenplay, then they write the dialogue. For me, it doesn't work that way. For me, it comes as a film already. Like it's not like coming as a story then taking a shape of a film. It doesn't work that way. Uh, like when I'm thinking of the beginning of the film, it has a frame. It already has characters, how the characters behave, and the kind of music, the kind of sounds, the kind of light. So it usually takes a form already. uh, Also, I observed that like if I want to like write a short story, whatever I'm thinking at that point of time, I kind of, if not like consciously, like subconsciously, like I kind of think like, will it be a short story or something? I'm still figuring it out because I never like had a thought of like writing a novel or something. So maybe like initially I have to maybe think a bit like what form, then like ideas come. I'm not sure actually, but whatever like I've written or like made films into so far, they are like come as like they are now. Yeah.
That's fascinating. Thank you for sharing that with us. So, I was also wondering on the same lines, is it because it comes from a very organic place? Like, I mean, I'm sort of guessing on the basis of the films that I've seen of yours, like whether it's Bidugade or Haba Haridina Sukhi Shivaratri, where it's sort of taking place within the village. And you had also said, like, these are things that happen here. So is it because of that? Do you think a place or a form of visual experience that you've grown up with influences the way we you know create our own processes with art?
Uh, yeah, for me, whatever like personal to you is, more powerful. Uh, for I think it's for like two reasons. One, we know the place well. A place means a place like comes with its own language, culture, people. So it already has many layers to it. Uh, so it's powerful, and also there's a lot of detailing
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
like I think everything changes with time and space. So we are talking now. If we talk like in 2030, what we talk is different. If you're talking in 1990, it is different. Or today only,
Yeah.
if you're like talking like if you say we are from USA or something, if you're talking, the things we talk is different.
Yeah.
What we are, our thoughts. I think the time and space it influences a lot. So no, so I grew up in this village. So I born here. Brought up here. So I know this place and the people, the culture, the way we eat. Different from village to village. State to state and person to person. So I know like how we eat here. So if I write how we eat here, because I know the details because I've been eating here for like decades now. So I think there's a great amount of detailing that comes like naturally. I think that adds to it. And also once a story, any story that set in a particular space and time, it already has a big layer of politics to it because of the
Yes.
time and space. If I say our village, like who are living here, what do they do, how is their life, who owns the land, who has a political power, a lot of things come to the place. So I think it's important, uh, they say no, like write what you know. So I think uh, because I know this, I can write here. I can't. For a long time, I couldn't write. Even though I was living in Bangalore on and off for 9 years now, writing about Bangalore is a bit difficult because uh, I again go back to my childhood. Not boring. My new film is set in Bangalore. It's
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
It's exciting. Yeah. I mean, like it takes time. Like it needs certain amount of time. You have
Yeah.
to live at a place to uh,
So
know the details of people, place. So I think it's amazing. Like when someone from a particular place write about it. I think for me, one of the reasons why representation is very important is for this reason. When people from different corners of the country in the world and from the different communities, they write, only they can write about their village or their town or the community they come from, well, because of their lived experiences. uh, I'm not saying like not someone coming from outside can't write, but obviously they can't write with the same amount of detailing and
yeah.
authenticity. So I think it's important to write about where we come from.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. And this next question sort of takes us to two of the things that you just mentioned, the role of language and the politics surrounding it. So, something that I noticed or experienced when I was reading track one, your essay, is that it reads as if somebody is telling me a story in Kannada. So, and usually the personal essay format is very reflective. The idea is, I was walking here and I was thinking that, and this is leading to this, and that is leading to that. There's not a lot of action, and I don't know why, but I think very intrinsically when we're children we talk like this, Amma, I went there and this happened and this they hit me and then I talked to them or whatever. So that's a way of narrating, and then a personal essay which is supposed to be talking about like your thoughts as well as your narrative of something that happened. There is this, I don't know, like after reading your essay, I started to feel like there's something very much missing in the way we adopt maybe a Western sort of method of writing a personal essay in that reflective format. Like we distance ourselves from it, and there is sort of some sort of romanticization of it. I don't know if I'm, uh, you know, provoking certain people, but like that's what I felt when I read your essay. And it's not like, that reflection is not absent in your essay. It's very much there, but it can be done in a much more simpler and more organic manner. Like I felt like I was listening to a story in Kannada, somebody was talking to me about it. And there was also reflection. So, what I wanted to also ask is, maybe English has sort of distanced ourselves, and because we adopt English in the writing, this one we sort of adopt that form of writing. So, my question to you would be, how has languages, the distance and politics of English, whereas Kannada as your mother tongue, changed the way you write and see stories?
I don't know if I have a right answer for this. I'll try answering.
There's no right
Uh,
answers.
yeah. Uh, like I can like writing in Kannada is like it's just like me talking in English, Kannada, because it's a language I think in, and the people around me talk in, and everything I know about my village I know in Kannada. Uh, and for me, English it's a language I learned recently, like few years ago. Like after coming to Bangalore, like I started, talking in English, reading and watching films with English subtitles and stuff. So, uh, English, first thing, like when I'm growing up, I thought English is only Americans speak, not like people in India. That's what I thought. Uh, After like I got to know like a lot of people in India, so then I thought only like city people can talk in English. When I come to Bangalore, like it was true.
Yeah,
Most of
it
them,
is.
most
The
of them, like
politics of English is like
yeah,
that.
most of them studied in English medium schools. When I came to Bangalore in 2014 for my bachelor's, my English was so bad. All I knew was like, "What is your name? How are you doing?" So I can't like hold a conversation. So um, that time, like one of the reasons why how I fell in love with films is because I wanted to learn English. So when I came to Joseph's, I my English was so bad. So in the first semester, I got bullied for not knowing the language, and I used to like find people uh, who could speak Kannada and like be friends with them. So in first semester, all my friends were people who speak spoke Kannada. So uh, that time, like I wanted to learn English. So during the time I had a phone, so I used to, get one English film from my friends in hostel and put English subtitles and watch a film every day. Uh, that's how like I learned language through films. Uh, for a lot of reasons, English, it's still a like when we talk about English, we have to talk about class, right? Like who
Mm,
has
yes, yes.
access to English education. Uh, who I really want people in my village who speak in Kannada. I want all the services education in Kannada in my village. Also, we can't deny the fact that we need English, equally. to
Yeah,
get the exposure of the
because
world or to get a
yeah,
job. We have not, we don't have a society where all the languages, all the cultures are respected or valued equally.
equally, yeah,
It's not, for a lot of reasons. So uh, for me, Kannada is like my expressive language. Like I write in Kannada. Like uh, a lot of my thoughts are in Kannada. Also, I need English, to get a job or to
yeah,
survive in a corporate world or to there is a lot of there is a big world beyond Kannada, beyond Karnataka. To know that, I know English, even though like I hear things in English, again in my mind it get translated to Kannada. So I need like both equally. For me, writing in Kannada is easier. Writing in English is easier. Only the challenge is finding the right word for the things that I want. The words in Kannada culture. Say a lot of things, you know, a lot of things in my village. They don't have an English word, and there is no word that actually remotely it explains
yeah,
what that is.
yeah.
So this time for Toto, I had sent to Kannada, in Kannada and English and films. For like, I simultaneously wrote some stories in Kannada and English. Kannada, like it was easier. For English, I couldn't find the right words to explain. Uh, like it's difficult, and uh, most of the time in Kannada, like when I'm writing, I'm because of the cultural thing, like anybody like from Karnataka can understand what I'm talking, but English it's not, you know,
Yeah.
same, like, right? Uh, I have to explain things, of my village in the language someone in Bangalore can understand. That's like challenging. Sometimes like I have to speak their language to like tell my story. It's a kind of like complicated thing to like
Oh
uh,
yeah.
yeah, so it's
When
kind of.
you look at, yeah, sorry,
Tell
I
me.
just want, yeah, when you look at it that way, like the line that you just said, like telling my story in a language that they need to understand, that's such
Yeah,
an injustice, actually.
yeah, and also for me it's important too,
Yes,
because
of course, yeah.
the stories of my village, like they are not even written in Kannada. So because like 90% of more than 90% of my village, the working class, they are the first generation students. They're
Yeah.
learning to write now. Leave the story,
Yeah.
just alphabets. They're learning to write now. So it takes some time to like start writing stories and get published. So for me, like uh, it's important to write in English too. So I'm okay with that, but it's challenging. I'm not. It's fun, but it's
Yeah.
challenging. It's
Yeah.
important. It's fun. It's challenging. Yeah.
There is a space in that language that has to be filled with experiences that you feel in another language. So, uh, I mean that's one way of how I looked at it. I don't know if I'm making sense, but yeah. And I think we need more such spaces and stories, to fill us. I mean, we should have that. Yeah.
True.
On that note, I would actually like to read a section of, track one, which was Naveen's essay for the SJU Prize. I'll just share my screen, and I just want all of you to. I mean, this is one of my favorite sections. Like that humor that I was talking about, the underlying issues, and the way in which it's a story that somebody is telling you in like multiple languages. And so there is not just the nature of English there, but there's also the nature of Kannada. There's also the nature of his village and the people in his village, and his own sort of feelings and emotions that are like in that place. And he's taken all of it from English, and I'm sorry, he's taken all of it from like his experience and put it in another language that does not often make space for it. So he's sort of expanding that space and making it. So, but I mean, also it's just a beautiful essay, and I just want to, read it out for all of you. I'm just going to share my screen and read that. So the entire essay is up on the link that I've shared, but I'm just going to read this one part. So track one is the story of a little of a boy who's searching for music, and this music is not easily available to him due to politics of class and caste. But he does not stop. He's just going after it, and this is a very favorite part of mine because I think as kids we all like romanticize the idea of listening to music on earphones. So I'll just stop there and I'll start again. One day, while I was traveling to the town, I saw the same kid I had seen when I went to buy coconuts with Appa. He was sitting on a window seat and listening to songs. At first, I thought it was a Walkman. Every time I visited village fairs, I used to ask the shops there about the Walkman and get disappointed when they told the price. Sometimes Walkmans used to come in my dreams too. I used to walk in the fields of my village listening to songs in the Walkman. The Dream Walkman played every song that I requested. I talked to the kid and I found out that it was an iPod his brother bought from America. He said that it had about 500 songs. I asked him which song he was listening to. He said the name of an English song, but I didn't understand. I just nodded. I was so fascinated by that cute device and its earphones. I wanted one to hold in my hand. My mind had started planning to buy one. I asked him the price and he said it in dollars. I did a mental conversion and it was about 10,000 rupees. I realized I have to be satisfied with the difference in generation. My mother's younger sister and her family moved to Bengaluru for a better life. One summer, Avva decided to visit them. She said she would take me and my brother along with her. My aunt also loved music. Her favorite song till today is Puvu Nuvu from the film Yuddha Kanda. Is it Yuddha Kanda? She
Yuddhakanda.
told okay, yeah. She told me in a call that they have FM in Bangalore, in Bengaluru, and you can listen to music 24 hours a day on the phone, and it's free. Free music you can listen any time of the day in phone. Wow! I started dreaming about visiting Bengaluru. We had a Reliance 999 rupees phone at home. We would hang it 10 feet high in the kitchen on a nail and a thread. That was the only place where there was one cuddy signal. I remember my aunt telling me that one needs to plug in earphones for FM to work. I convinced my family to carry the phone to Bengaluru and I remember to take the earphones. We boarded the bus from the nearby town. I was badly waiting to reach Bengaluru. By the time we reached Tumkur, I woke up and plugged in earphones to check the FM. I was happy and sad. Happy because FM was working. Sad because only one side of the earphone was working. My brother also woke up. I told him about FM. We took turns listening to songs on earphones. Whenever it was not my turn, I used to look at my brother's face to see his reaction to the songs. Sanju Ved's Geeta film songs were huge hits then. FM radios played these songs all day. Earphones were glued to my ears all the time during my stay in Bengaluru. So, yeah. I think this is it for now. You can all read the rest on the link. But this is just something that is so personal to me, like that bittersweet moment of, having everything wait on that single moment when, yeah, I'm gonna listen to the song on the earphones finally. And there's just so much romanticization also. Maybe a crush that you had in school, or like, okay, I'm a character in my own film sort of thing, and everything just hinges on that one moment. But it's like anticlimactic, but like just a little bit, and then like it's just a beautiful moment. One of the best pieces of writing I've read in recent times, and I just wanted to share that. That sort of brings me to the next question. So we were talking about language and its politics of inclusion and exclusion. So I wanted to ask you some of your insights about what kind of changes needs to happen to make these places inclusive and sensitive. Because very often, I think we still have that. We live in a society that still thinks, especially in urban publishing spaces and things like that, people don't even understand the value of literature that sort of breaks these codes of colonized, hi-fi English, with certain accents, and people write this in this English when they come from ICSE schools or international schools or whatnot. So how do we sort of break these spaces, or to change these classist and casteist ways of thinking about writing, writing, and especially in English? So that's my question to you.
Uh, I think it's a very systematic change we need. First, I think we always, look at problems in the tip of the iceberg level. Uh, we talk about representation. There is no representation in the mainstream, but if we ask our question like why it's not there, because we haven't done much in the grassroots level. If we say like we don't have writers from a lot of communities, why? Because in the grassroots there is no social justice for those communities. And when writing or any art form is luxury, we have to agree to that. It's one big luxury. Not everyone can do it. Like if we don't have like food for
Yeah.
like 3 times a day, we are not going to like write or anything, right? If we
Yeah.
like, we can't like enjoy it, just we can't just enjoy a film when we are hungry. Like how I think uh, food, uh, a place to live, and peace
Yeah.
in the house. It's more important, to create art. I think even creating art is like second step. First step is like having a good schooling, a good exposure to different forms of arts. These things are like important. Like we are like far away from doing that. Like I always feel I didn't have to like go to Bangalore to know that even I can write or make films. Not
Yeah.
everyone from my village can go. Like I was the only person who could like go to Bangalore and study. A lot of my friends like dropped out in high school. Like of two or three of them like went to college like nearby. Like one one need don't have to like go to Bangalore to learn something, like to go to a big city. Like I think the first step is giving exposure to different art forms and giving confidence to uh, people like children that they can even like they also can write. uh, Even like in the school level, that we were like made fun. I know uh, people used to make fun of like the way we talk, because we didn't
Yeah.
talk in a certain standard Kannada or whatever. So like I think it's a systematic change we need to like accept people for like wherever they're coming from, the kind of language they speak. I think it starts from there. Then exposure to different forms of arts to children, then like giving confidence to them that they also can write, like tell stories in any form they want. I think if we take care of these things in the grassroots, other things will automatically happen, I feel. uh, but yeah, it's a big systematic change we have to like should
Yeah.
happen.
And from what you were just saying, I was also thinking like there is this idea that you have to go away from the village to finally know that you're a writer, or that you can do these things. No, so there's that idea of you have to go away from here to go and find this thing or to reach that art, but maybe the shift is about bringing art to this place, and you're doing that with Bhima Shale, and that's just amazing to see. So, like, for those of you who don't know, Bhima Shale is this art, school for just art learning for the children of Naveen's village that he started with the money that he got for his Toto award. So, yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. Like, that sort of shift in thinking is so much necessary, uh, in terms of equalizing this playground in that sense.
Correct.
Yeah.
Also, I think these things like should happen simultaneously. There is no like not one way. Like, so I'll give an example of. So Bhima Shala is an art center, more than a school. I think of it that way. We have so we had a Tamte hand drum workshop 2 weeks ago. Then we have like spoken English for like 20 days now. We watch films every day, and we have arts and craft and draw painting workshop like happening throughout this month. Yes, like uh, one way like it looks when we see this from Bangalore or a city or a town, it looks like great. Yeah, this dude is doing this thing, but the problems are even deeper. Like for so everything like happen in Bhimashal is free of cost because money shouldn't be barrier for someone to like
Yeah.
pursue their interest. One that also getting children here is difficult because of a lot of things. I'll give an example. Today morning, there is one two second standard kid. She's like 7 years old. She's so much interested in painting. Uh, we have painting class from 10 to 12, and from 8 to 10 we have English classes. She is so much interested. She wants to come to these classes. Her house is a little far, so she comes with the kids coming to the English class at 8 o'clock. And her mom works at one of the landlord's family. She has to go to work maybe like 6:30. So she don't get breakfast, but she's interested. She has to come. Like she went away at like maybe 9:30, 10 before the class because she was so hungry. She couldn't like sit there.
Yeah.
One, bringing the children just from their house to here and
Yeah.
giving food. This like me alone can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of a lot of
Yeah.
things. This is not the story of that one kid. It's a story of a lot of people, and a lot of people can't come because they have a lot of household workflow like take care of. They're going to work with their parents to one of the landlord's house, or it's summer holidays. They want to make some money so that they can like take care of their schooling next year. They can buy a bag or books, right?
Yeah.
So social justice is like really important for some a person to have food, uh, decent food 3 times a day, a good house to live. So it's a lot of things. So it's really important to like make sure we have all the basic necessities met:
Yeah.
food, clothes,
Yeah.
I don't know all these things. So the problems are even like deeper. Like so, we have to address all these things to have representation, and
Yeah.
also there is like one like grassroots. I hope this will like if you work in grassroots, maybe 10 or 20 years down the line, we have a lot of people telling their stories. Right now, like and this is one set of challenge, and other the second set of challenge is like whoever already like making art, finding a place in the mainstream say media is difficult. uh, One of the like major newspaper, they contacted me after like they heard about Bhima Shale. They talked to me for like 3 4 days. They interviewed me. They wanted to write a piece, and like so I'm raising funds for this from maybe next week. So they wanted to uh, uh, publish an article like in the support of like fundraise and stuff. We talk, but because of the kind of politics I talk, they are not okay with that. The editor, after like
Oh.
having everything, they kind of shelved it. That is like one kind of challenge. I mean, like it's just an example. Like the challenges are both in like grassroots and in the
As well as
mainstream.
system. Yeah.
I'm okay with the mainstream because I can't just go and change it. But in
Hmm.
grassroots, we can do something and like change things.
Yeah.
I think uh, we have to give the primary importance to changes in the grassroots than uh, in the mainstream. So yeah, again, everything comes back, boils down to social justice again, making
Yeah.
getting a
Yeah.
good job.
Yeah.
So I was talking to students like who are dropping school. A lot of people who come, students who come to Bhimashale to learn art also dropouts, and I was just trying to like understand like why they don't want to go to school. Uh,
Yeah.
One of the again like it comes back to social justice. Like they say like, "Oh, bro, okay, I go to school, I go to a school here, then I might go to a school in town. What kind of job I get, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to get a high paying good job, they have to go to a big college. To go to those big colleges, they have to pay a big
It
theft amount
kind
of
of.
money and
Yeah.
like English and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a well designed system to oppress the oppressed. So I think it's really important to address the grassroots
Yeah.
systematically. These are like not standalone independent things. These are all related to each other. Like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have to address a lot of things to address one thing, and vice
Yeah.
versa.
Thank you for sharing that, Naveen, because I think that's something that's very important. We all, I mean, at least I know that even I'm privileged to a large extent, and at least in terms of conversations with art or writing or filmmaking or whatever form it may be, I think people exist in these bubbles of creation where, uh, I mean, at least when you come into a space like this, you come in. No, I mean, yeah, of course, we might have like some financial problems here and there and personal problems and things like that. But this is a larger picture that you don't need to see, because you don't have to see it. Whereas, like, there are children elsewhere who are struggling, who, because they need to, satisfy their hunger, cannot experience a form of art. Or there are people who are trying to make a change like you are, and then there's the systemic forms of this one who think this is too political, so let's not cover it. But I think both of that has to change, because I mean, what are we doing otherwise? We're just sitting and, like, again, it's another kind of pretense, no? Like, oh, we are better than everybody. We're just, talking about art and, like, sharing how to do these things. And I think this has to be a very parallel conversation with creation of art, the way that you have just pointed out. And thank you for that. I'm sure that all of us will take all of these things, maybe in our own personal practices as well. So yeah. Um, so moving on with our questions, I would actually ask you to share with us a personal moment. I mean, something, a detail from the stories that you have submitted for the Toto Awards, which won the Toto Award for Creative Writing in Kannada. Would you like to share like a small bit that you liked writing and actually read it out for us in Kannada? If that's okay with, I mean, it has to be okay with the audience. That's not a question. But can I know? I will do a very, a basic translation of it at the end of it. But can I just know for, like, statistics' sake, how many of us understand Kannada here? Like, you can just give a show of hands. Okay. So I also do. So that's two of us now. Yeah. I'll translate it a little bit for everybody else, and I'll do an okay job of it. Naveen, can we hear from you?
Yes. Uh, this is from one of the stories which won Toto. The name of the story is Suragi. Uh, ಸಂಜೆ 4ರ ಬೆಲ್ಲು ಬಾರಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದಂತೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಆಟ ಆಡಲು ಮೈದಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಓಡಿದರು. 2 ನಿಮಿಷ ತರಗತಿಯಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ದಂತೆ ಮಾಡಿದ ದೀಪ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಕಿಟಕಿಯಿಂದ ತನ್ನ ಪಾಟಿ ಚೀಲವನ್ನು ಹೊರಗೆ ಎಸೆದು ಶೌಚಾಲಯ ಬಳಸುವವಳಂತೆ ಶಾಲೆಯ ಹಿಂಬದಿ ಹೋದಳು. ಯಾರೂ ನೋಡದಿರುವುದನ್ನು ಖಾತರಿ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಪಾಟಿ ಚೀಲವನ್ನು ಎತ್ತಿಕೊಂಡು ಶಾಲೆಯ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಗೇರುಕೊಪ್ಪಲ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಮನೆಯ ಕಡೆ ಓಡಿದಳು. ಮನೆಯ ಒಂದು ಕೀಲಿ ಕೈ ಅಮ್ಮನ ಹತ್ತಿರ ಇರುತ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದನ್ನು ಕಿಟಕಿಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿರುತ್ತಿದ್ದಳು. ಕಿಟಕಿ ಕಿಟಕಿಯ ಸರಳುಗಳನ್ನು ಹಿಡಿದು ಮೇಲೆ ಹತ್ತಿ ಗೋಡೆಯ ತಡವಿದಳು. ಎಷ್ಟು ತಡವಿದರೂ ಕೀಲಿ ಕೈ ಸಿಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಿಟಕಿಯ ಮೇಲೆಯೂ ನೋಡಿದಳು, ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಸಿಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇನ್ನೂ ಗಿಲಾಯ ಮಾಡದ ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಮನೆಯ ಗೋಡೆಯ ಅಂಚುಗಳು ಕೈ ತರಚಿದವು. ಕೈ ಒರೆಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಮನೆಯ ಹಿಂಬದಿ ಓಡಿದಳು. ಅಡಿಗೆ ಮನೆಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಕಿಟಕಿ ಕೂರಿಸಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾವು ಹುಳ ಬರದಿರಲೆಂದು ಅಮ್ಮ ಇಟ್ಟಿಗೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹಾಗೆ ಜೋಡಿಸಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಳು. ಒಂದೊಂದೇ ಇಟ್ಟಿಗೆಗಳನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದು ಕೆಳಗೆ ಎಸೆದ ದೀಪ ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಅಡಿಗೆ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹಾರಿದಳು. ಪಾಟಿ ಚೀಲವನ್ನು ಜೊಗಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಸೆದು ಒಂದು ಜಾಂಬು ತಣ್ಣನೆ ಮಣ್ಣಿನ ಹರಿವೆ ನೀರನ್ನು ಘಟಘಟನೆ ಕುಡಿದಳು. ಅಡಿಗೆ ಮನೆಯ ಅಗಣಿಯನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದು ಹಿತ್ತಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಪಾಳ ಬಸ್ಸು ಬರುವ ಹೊತ್ತಾಗಿ ಹೋಯಿತು ಎನಿಸಿತು. ತನ್ನ ಸಾಹಸದಿಂದ ಕಡುನೀಲಿ ತಿಳಿನೀಲಿ ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಣ್ಣಿನ ಬಣ್ಣವಾಗಿದ್ದವು. ಕಡುನೀಲಿ ಲಂಗವನ್ನು ಬೇಗ ಬೇಗನೆ ಕೊಡವಿಕೊಂಡು ಜಡಪತ್ರೆ ಹೂವುಗಳನ್ನು ಎತ್ತಿ ಮಡಿಲಿಗೆ ಹಾಕಿಕೊಂಡಳು. ನಡುವೊಳಗಿನ ಕಪಾಟಿನಿಂದ ಹೂದಾರವನ್ನು ತಂದು ಮನೆಯ ಮುಂದಿನ ಕಟ್ಟೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೂಚೆಲ್ಲಿದಳು. ನಿನ್ನೆ ಪಾಳ ಬಸ್ಸಿನ ಡ್ರೈವರು ಉದ್ದದ ಹೂದಂಡೆ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದ. ಬದಿಗೆ 2 ಹೂ ಕಟ್ಟುತ್ತಿದ್ದವಳು ಇವತ್ತು ಒಂದೊಂದೇ ಹೂ ಕಟ್ಟಿದಳು. ಹೂದಂಡೆ ನಿನ್ನೆಗಿಂತ ಒಂದು ಗೇಣು ಉದ್ದವೆದ ಕಾಣುತ್ತಿತ್ತು. ದಾರವನ್ನು ಜೇಬಿಗೆ ಎಳೆಸಿ ಹೂದಂಡೆ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಡಿದು 4 ಬಾಗಿಲ ಕಡೆ ಓಡಿದಳು. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬಸ್ಸು ತಪ್ಪಿ ಹೋಗುವುದೋ ಎಂದು 4 ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಹಾಕಿದಳು. ಅಂಗನವಾಡಿಯ ಮಗ್ಗುಲಲ್ಲಿ ಇಳಿದು ಕೆಳಗಿನ ಕೆರೆಯ ಬಂಡಿ ದಾರಿಯನ್ನು ಬಳಸಿ ಟಾರ್ ರಸ್ತೆಗೆ ಇಳಿದವಳೆ ಬಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಕಾಯುತ್ತಾ ನಿಂತಿದ್ದ ಜನರನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ ವೇಗ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿದಳು. ಬಸ್ಸು ನಿಲ್ಲುವ ಜಾಗದ ಎದುರಿನ ಕಟ್ಟೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತು ಸೊರಬದ ಹಾದಿಯನ್ನೇ ದಿಟ್ಟಿಸುತ್ತಾ ಕೂತಳು. ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲೇ ನೀಲಿ ಬಣ್ಣದ ಪಾಳಗಾಡಿ ಪಿಪ್ಪಿ ರಿಪ್ಪಿ ಪಿಪ್ಪಿ ಎಂದು ಹಾರನ್ ಬಾರಿಸುತ್ತಾ ಬಂತು. ದೀಪ ಎದ್ದು ನಿಂತು ತನ್ನ ಕಡೆ ಸಾಗಿ ಬರುತ್ತಿದ್ದ ಬಸ್ಸನ್ನೇ ನೋಡಿದಳು. ಬಸ್ಸು ನಿಂತಿದ್ದೇ ತಡ. ಡ್ರೈವರ್ ಬಳಿ ಓಡಿದಳು. ಡ್ರೈವರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೂವು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡ. ತನ್ನ ಅಂಗಿಯ ಜೇಬನ್ನು ತಡವಿಕೊಂಡು ಕಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಹತ್ರ ದುಡ್ಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳಮ್ಮ ಎಂದ. ದೀಪ ಬಸ್ಸಿನ ಮುಂಭಾಗದಿಂದ ಓಡಿ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಬಾಗಿಲ ಬಳಿ ನಿಂತಿದ್ದ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಬಳಿ ಓಡಿದಳು. ಅಣ್ಣ, ಹೂವಿಂದು ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಂತೆ ಎಂದಳು. ಕಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ತನ್ನ ಲೆದರ್ ಕೈ ಚೀಲದಿಂದ ಹತ್ತಿರ 2 ನೋಟನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ರಯ್ಯ ರಯ್ಯ ಎಂದನು. ದೀಪಳ ಮುಖದಲ್ಲಿ ನಗು ಅರಳಿ ಮರೆಯಾಯಿತು. ಡ್ರೈವರ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ದು ಬರೀ 10 ರೂಪಾಯಿ. ಇವತ್ತು ಕಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟದ್ದು 20 ರೂಪಾಯಿ. 4 ಬಾಗಿ ಭೂಪಪ್ಪನ ಕಡೆ ತಿರುಗಿ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲೇ ಕೈ ಮುಗಿದಳು.
Oh, thank you so much. So I will attempt a very basic translation. A lot of details might be lost. I apologize for that in advance. Please feel free to correct me, Naveen, in case I go wrong anywhere. Yeah. At 4 p.m. in the evening, the kids ran out of excitement behind the. So Deepa, one of the girls who ran out of school when the 4 p.m. bell rang, she ran towards her home, and at home there was one key that was above the window, and she tried to climb and she tried to get it, but she couldn't. So she went behind the house where near the kitchen there was no window because of snakes. Is that what you wrote?
Yeah.
Because of snakes that could get inside. So what she did was she climbed up on the. My translation is so bad. It's doing no justice to your story. But yeah, so she removed the tiles from above and then she got in and she got herself a cup of water from the cool mud pot and had a cup of water. Her uniform had become the color of mud. Oh my god, I love that line. That is something that, yeah. She saw she got the flowers that were sitting around, and then she started weaving a flower garland. And then I think previously she used to do more flower garlands, but today she was doing only one. Is that
No. So the driver had asked her, he'll buy the bus driver asked her, he'll buy the garland only if the garland is like longer. So she used to put two flowers in one side. She started putting only one flower one side so that it will become.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a crucial detail. Yeah, so she made a garland. She went out of the house and walked towards the Anganwadi and waited near the bus stand, waving the holding the garland that she had woven. And then she saw the bus. When the bus stopped by the bus stop, she took out the flower garland and gave it to the driver. The driver said, "Okay, go to the back and take the money from the conductor." And then she goes to the back, and the conductor gives her two notes of money, and then he says raya raya. Raya is what conductors say when they have to say go go. Raya raya, and Deepa looks at the two notes in her hand and realizes that it is a 20 rupees note, and usually the driver gives her 10 rupees for a single garland, and today she got 20 rupees and she gets. So that's the gist of it. Thank you so much for sharing that, Naveen. That was, again, so beautiful. That brings me to the next question. It's a curious question. How do the people in your village react to your films and your short stories, and how do they feel when they read it, and how do they sort of respond to you when they see themselves on camera and things like that? Because Naveen's films are also made with his villagers in them. So that's something I was very curious about.
Uh, they haven't read, I think so. maybe
Okay.
maybe like few people, my friends, like
Huh.
they might have read maybe one or two of my stories. Track one, I don't think any of them read. Maybe like one or two, I don't know. Uh, Films, they kind of like to see our village in a frame, I think. Uh, they're kind of like, happy to see themselves in the film. So there was one person in my village. He so all my village films are like set in my village. I mean, like they are in the real location, the real people, and all my short stories are set in my village. The places you hear, there's a places to go to that point A to point B. You have to take the exact route. So if someone from my village reads, they know exactly like it is set in this exact place.
Well,
So I think all my stories are like set in my village. So uh, they are like realistic for a geographically realistic, for I think it's completely realistic geographically. To
yeah.
like go to this house to that bus stop, you have to go to Anganwadi and like stuff like that. So if they read, I think uh, they will be happy to like see that detail. But they don't give a damn, honestly. I mean,
Oh.
like it's okay. Like you just it's not like something like big for them. I like
Uh-huh.
that, like because for people like who are not from my village, mostly like from the towns like or Bangalore, like for them like, oh, this dude writes, it's great. For my village, it's not. It's very humbling experience to like they are not gonna talk to me like I know
You're
different
a
things because
writer
I
or a
write or
filmmaker.
they're never gonna do that. But in Bangalore they do. It's kind of nice. Also, like in village, I like it like because all my art is coming from the village, and if they start talking to me differently, it will be difficult for
Yeah,
me
yeah.
to like. I still want to be one of the villagers. Like I still want to be that one among them. I don't want to be like a different person in the. So I don't want them to like you know look at them in like big guys. It's fine. Like, but one thing I'm really happy is like a lot of kids started making films. Maybe like
Oh.
uh, maybe like some 3 or 4 short films are made after like I started making films, and now with Bhima Shale, I've been talking to kids every day, and these third standard, fourth standard kids are making films on their phones. That's so
Oh.
I love it, and it's beautiful, and it makes me really happy. And they started like writing. I don't want those films to be like great or like the writing speed. Like I want them to start somewhere and they'll realize. And we watched Children of Heaven like few days ago. their reaction was like amazing. Starting it was little, you know, too much for them because it's a different kind of film language that
Yeah.
they used to see, they see films in TV, and they're mostly like mainstream Kannada films are like kind of loud. These films are like a different kind of film language. So initially it was like little too much for them, but then they got it. They started enjoying it. If you have seen like Children of Heaven, there is a this guy, this kid in the here, you know, the lead in the film. He competes in a race so that he can get a shoe because he doesn't.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah.
They were cheering for him. The moment they were like dancing, they were cheering. It was so heartwarming to see, and the kids' attention to detail is amazing. We watched without subtitles, but they understood most of the things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I watched with them, and I didn't know the name of the lead character. At the end, they started cheering Ali Ali, and I'm like, "What is that?" Then I realized it's the name of the character. I'm like, so these kids are amazing. Their attention to detail is amazing. And today we watched
Yeah.
Home Alone, and
Uh,
they know like they know everything. Like their attention to detail is amazing. It's amazing. Like we were watching a lot of films, and they're making films, and uh, with our Tamte workshop, like 25 kids learn, and they're such fast learners, and they learned in like 6 days. They performed in front of 150 of the villagers. It was amazing. These kids are amazing. Just like we have to nurture them. It's pretty amazing.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Naveen. There's so much to take away from everything that you are sharing with us in terms of what we could also do in art practice, not just personal, but also to sort of engage with community and things like that. And yeah, children are just yeah, totally like it's an experience to watch with them, I guess.
Yeah,
um, yeah. So this brings us to our last question. Not because I don't have any more questions, I have a lot more, but because of time and because I want to open up the questions to the audience, because I'm sure that a lot of you would also like to ask Naveen questions. So with one last question, I will end my side of it and open up to the audience. This question is kind of generic, but it's something that I'm very, very interested to hear about. And I'm sure that one part of it would also be relevant to all of our audience. The first part is who are your favorite authors or filmmakers that you sort of look up to or you feel inspired by? And the second part of it is what advice would you give young writers and filmmakers?
I am only young writer.
Very, no, it's very loaded, but yeah, we can
Yeah.
look up to you.
Uh, Recently, I come to a conclusion that I don't have favorite writers or filmmakers. I have favorite books and films.
That's nice.
it,
Yeah.
it's mostly because the big argument of separating art from artist.
From the artist, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like I don't know. Like I think but also it's mostly because I have favorite writer. I don't have to like all the things they write, or I have favorite
Exactly,
film.
yeah.
I don't have to like all the films. Uh, but writers like growing up, I really like Kuvenku. Coimpu is one of the most celebrated Kannada writers. His works are amazing. Like, I think if he started writing in English actually. Uh, then one of the biggest English poets, I forgot his name. He's famous. His poems must have were in like textbooks and stuff. He's famous. Then he reads one of his poems when he was in Mysore University and asks him to start writing in Kannada.
Oh,
Then he starts writing in Kannada. Like if he wrote in English, I think he definitely would have won a lot of Nobels and stuff. He's like amazing writer. Uh, Maybe the best, the most amazing, the book I ever read and which has the biggest impact on me is Malegalu which means Bride in the Mountains.
Oh.
It captures the life of people in western Ghats of Karnataka in the uh, 1890s,
Oh.
1880s. It's amazing. Like I love. He's one of my most favorite writers, and his son Purnachandra Tejaswi. He's also one of my favorite writers. He wrote mostly about nature and his experiences with. Uh, uh, he even though his father is like a big writer and he was a chancellor of a biggest university of the in Karnataka. He leaves everything and he comes back to a village and he starts farming. He practiced Masanobu Fukuoka's own style evolution. You might have read that book, The Natural Farming. He did that, and his relationship with nature is like so close. All his books about his learnings experiences with nature. He's one of my favorite writers. His name is Purnachandra Tejaswi, and I love Siddhalingaya. Siddhalingaya is one of the amazing writers in Kannada. A lot of
Yeah.
my time heard about his autobiography Urukiri.
Yeah,
uh,
and
in
just
English
to
I forgot the
interject slightly, I whenever I read Naveen's works, I think about Siddhalingaya. I have read Urukeri's translation in English is A Word with Your World, and that sort of easy humor, very quick wit, and also that sense of adventure that was there. So yeah, that was yeah. I just wanted to.
Siddhalingaya and what else? Who else? Like I liked some works of Nemi Chandra. She's also a Kannada writer. Uh, then I think that's it, maybe.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. The second part was advice for younger
There is no
ones.
advice. I am only trying to know all these things. I don't know. Just do it. That's my
Okay.
advice.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing all of that with us, Naveen, and spending all of this time. I'm opening the session for questions from the audience. You can just either put up your hands and unmute yourselves and go for it, or put your comments or questions in the chat box. Yes, Luna, please go for it. Sure, sure.
Right on. Yeah.
perspective out there, and I want to personally thank you for making creating works like this. I just wanted to know what your experience was, you know, interacting with the kids. Do you know them? Like, was it difficult to explain to them, or did they already know what, like, the landlord style, Brahminism? Were they already acquainted with all of these concepts?
Thank you so much. It's so for kids and everybody in the village, uh, they know it. I mean, for me, like till I went to Bangalore, I thought it's all normal. I mean, this is how maybe we shouldn't. I mean, like I had like rebel thoughts, but I I also knew that this is it's been normalized. Like this is how they are, this is how we are, and we can't do like much about it, something like that. I think every kid like know this in the village, uh, and like yeah, all the actors in my films are like my villagers. All these kids are school kids or like kids from like neighboring village. uh, for them, like I can't really like tell them the second layer of the film, because they are like really young. I can't like really explain to them. Also explaining to them, it's trickier because of their parents part also. Like if they like go and tell them like, oh, Naveen was telling this, I can't really like answer to them, like. So I usually keep the things in the first layer. uh, they didn't know like the full story until they watch the film, but they know what they're doing at the particular scene. Like also all the dialogues, like they're not like written concretely. I just tell them this is the situation, like tell what you tell like normally. So they would tell the dialogues like that. uh, the thing you pointed out, it's really tricky because uh, one thing like happened like yesterday, in the Bhimshala. I asked kids to write their dreams. One kid in the fourth standard wrote, "My dream is to visit Ayodhya." I was like, "Where is it even coming from?" We wrote like different things, like flying or buying something. I'm like, "Where is it coming from?" Like, it's not like a natural thought. It's a very external influence thought. Like, yeah, personal choice is like, yes, I understand, but the whole system, TV, their parents, the people around them are not letting them to like have that. It's highly influenced. And when I was in Bangalore, like uh, February, for January 26th in our village school, they given some saffron flag for kids to dance. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, even I understand like we can't like directly discuss these things with kids, but they are the like primary victims. They're easy to like influence. These people are doing it like in a bigger way by influence. Like uh, I think now kids maybe like I know it's difficult to like have these conversations with kids. So I can't really like while filming also I can't really tell them like what's in the second layer. It's very tricky. I'm still finding out. Like there is no answer right now, but uh, it's difficult. It's very difficult because the whole TV, pop culture, media. It's it's so problematic. It's directly affecting it, and these kids are spending a lot of their time in with phones these days. One, uh, it's easy for parents to want to like you know you know a lot of them don't have time to give attention to kids. They just give phone, or some don't want to do it. So kids are spending a lot of time with TV and phones, and we know what's happening here. So maybe if I shoot that film again, like I think it changes a lot. Things are like intense now politically. Yeah.
Thank you. Is it? I don't know. Lonak's friend. I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
This one.
Oh, Rizwan. Yeah. Would you like to add something to that, or?
No, I agree with how kids can be easily influenced, and taking their perspective and making a movie is very important. Even in today's, like you said, the experience. I see kids today's Ram Navami, so I saw at least 10 kids outside with the saffron flag because they are conditioned that way. So if their perspective or taking their perspective, whatever your it is, like as long as caste is represented the right way, or not just the right way, caste is put out there through a kid's perspective, it becomes a very important piece of work. Yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, also kids are so amazing. I mean, this thing also happened. So our in your village, some of the some of my friends are learning an art form, dollu. uh, it's on kind of drum. And I was talking, my 4 year old, sorry, fourth standard nephew, he was asking me why no women in that group. I told him because like they want to have like only men's team. He said why? I said because they have decided. I don't know the answer. Then he said why can't they? Women also go there. I said like because like maybe their fathers or like their brothers or their family, they don't let them go and join the team. uh, a week ago I had told them this thing, that I was talking about Ambedkar, and I told them, the kids, that you know we Ambedkar, like you know you know taught us equality. He gave us equality something. They put the same thing. He was asking me, didn't Ambedkar tell you otherwise? Like, didn't he like asked us to have equality? Why there is only men's team? I'm like, then he was watching IPL and he was asking the same question. I'm like, these kids are so amazing. Like, we don't actually ask these questions, right? Like, yeah, men's team, women's team, it's okay. He was asking why can't they have equal, like, 5 men, 5 men, and like play IPL. I'm like, I don't have answer. I'm not that. Like, I don't have answer. Like, so these kids are so amazing. It's just like breaks my heart to see these kids, like, like not taught rationally. Yeah, these are
I
some
think
amazing.
those questions will get him somewhere, Naveen, and you
Yeah, all these kids are that way. Like, we just have to, like, you
ask the
know,
right questions. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. If moving on, if anybody wants to share their insights, please feel free to do so. You can raise your hand, and then like I'll
There
call
is
out
one
your name.
question in the chat.
Yeah, chat box. Pavan Bhatt asks, what?
Uh, Maybe a cliche answer. I think life experiences. I think art comes from life. Um, a lot of time, if arts come from like some other art, I think it lacks the authenticity. Once Anurag Kashyap told me this thing that like it was really nice. He said the problem with Bollywood is that the people who make film there are these like people from these big families, and their life is like sitting at 32nd floor of the apartment and watching film. So for them, only thing which can become a film is what they have seen in the film. Uh, I think for me, like what inspires me to write or make films, tell stories is uh, life. I think life offers a lot of things. We just have to like have an eye, and it comes naturally, I think. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Naveen. Nasreen, please go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, Naveen. Hi,
Hello.
Will. So, firstly, I think what I'm taking away from this session is what Naveen said when he started with the session. That is, I'm not creating anything new. I'm just putting the ordinary in a frame, and also that you can't plan art. This is just so beautifully quoted, and it just like hit me, and The way you put it into words is just so beautiful. My question is fairly very simple. I know you now, but I don't know the young Naveen. So I just wanted to know if you had a point in life where you realized that you wanted to make films, if there was a point in your life, if there was an incident or whatever. And secondly, when you decided you wanted to make films, what took you back to your village? Was it the comfort that you had there, like a sort of the feeling of belonging, or was it to represent your village and the kids and the issues, or was it a blend of both, or was it something else entirely? So that's my question. Thank you.
uh, to start making films, it happened gradually. The first time, so I told my why I started watching films to learn English. Then I fell in love with this medium. Uh, Now I think, retrospect, I know that it has everything that I like. All the art forms. I don't have like one moment or something. The first time I didn't know I wanted to make films. My friends decided that I want to make films. One day, like in Joseph's, there's that place Quadrangle. I was sitting there, and some of my friends, they came from outside, and while introducing me, this friend says, "Oh, this is Naveen. He wants to make films." I mean, I didn't know if I wanted to make films. Like, why are you saying this? Then I asked that person. They said like because of all the things you always talk, you watch a lot of films. I said, yeah, maybe like. Then after 1 year or so, like I never had any plans. Uh, then there was a they wanted to build one steel flyover in Bangalore. So there's one campaign, to protest against it, to make 1 minute short film. So I was walking in Majestic. So in Majestic, you might have seen like there are people uh, who are like sitting with weighing machines. You can like give 1 rupee and like see the weight. uh, when I see that, an idea came to my mind, like about like steel flavor, and I wrote something that night, and the next day we went and shot it, me and my friend. That was like my first film. uh, at that time, like I made a film, and I wanted to put it the next day, and like I wanted the whole world to see it. The like initial feeling. So I think it happened gradually. And answering your second part of the question, there are two things why I made my films in village. One thing is my stories, naturally they are from my village, because I was born and like brought up here, and like the world I seen, like uh, my childhood, like it was pretty, uh, how do you say, there's a lot of details, a lot of things happening on everyday basis. There's so much happening, and there's so much I have, you know like I've taken, from my childhood. I think it's for everyone. If you look back, it's childhood and rest of the life. So there are a lot of things I wanted to tell from childhood. Second thing is, I didn't have money to afford, professional actors. So I wanted to do, a film with whatever I had. So I got a camera from a friend, and one like small made in China, sound recorder for like people use it to record interviews and stuff, and lens from a friend. And I just came to my village, and I wanted to make a film. So uh, I was sitting in the. So my father runs one small shop in my village, in the bus stand. So I started like, sitting in that shop since I was like 5 years old, to send my father to like lunch and stuff. So now also I go and sit there. So all the village kids come here to get chocolates and stuff. So I talk to them. While talking, like I, I have written this, so I know like what this kid will look like talk like. If I like see someone, I ask them like, "Do you want to act?" And like they're just in the film. So that's how I found like this character. And also, the, uh, in the film, if there's a character of a person who cuts the trees, I go and get the person who cut the trees. So it's easier to, uh, you know, um, I have a nice film set, and it's more, it's a lot realistic. Yeah, so these are the two reasons. One, I didn't have money. Second, I wrote something from my village.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Naveen. So, are there any more questions? Uh, I guess not. Anybody else? Okay. I think we've sort of come to the end of our session then. I have a lot more questions, but I think I'll ask you them personally. uh, Lonaf, how are we doing on time?
We have 20 more minutes left if there's any conversation.
Okay. Okay, then I'll ask one more question. Yeah. Yeah. So, I have a bunch of them written down. Yeah, so this is something that I kind of wanted to ask about. One is, like you told me about how the places and, I mean, I don't know. I think you've sort of answered this question anyway, but I'll ask it anyway. But do you see a difference in the way you write stories about a city like Bangalore compared to a village like your hometown? Like I feel like there is, I don't know, it's just a personal observation from, I mean, my own practice also. Like my mom's from a village in Kerala, and every time I go there, somehow every character and place and maybe it's because of the eyes that I take away from a city like Bangalore and then go there, where in Bangalore we are not close to our neighbors. Everybody is just anonymous in a sense, or like the people who I'm close to are just too regular. But in when I go to my mom's house, village, everything is new. Like, and every character and every place has some sort of life to it. And I feel like I would also like to write a story about that, and I would feel like something about, I mean, like the everyday life that I live in Bangalore, I feel like somehow that it's not interesting enough to write a story about. But then, like, I think Arul sir used to say that life is elsewhere. When you go away from a place, you suddenly start to see the meaning of that place, and then you sort of feel like writing about it, which I also felt when I moved to Hyderabad. So I don't know. This question is mostly like, is are writing about these places different? Because there's also like the politics surrounding these places, of course. But in terms of experience, how do you feel about it?
Uh, for me, you know, if I have to, like, give priorities, among the, aspects in a story, or like what do we call elements or whatever. For me, like, emotion comes first.
First.
Form, word, like, that's like secondary. Like, I think for me, like, for film, everything, emotion first, and uh, I might compromise with anything else, but not emotions in films. So, uh, where is that coming from? That comes from my relationship with people around me, and the place. Place is people most of the time. So writing about village is easier for me because uh, I have, like, you know. Um, how do you say, I talk to a lot of people here, and a lot of things happen, and the amount of information generates every day in my mind in my village is like big, and the emotions in it is also like pretty intense. uh, Today I told that thing, no, this girl who's interesting, but they can't have
Yeah.
a breakfast and come, that that's like pretty intense, like, uh, and like, uh, these are like, because I'm from this village and stuff. uh, like, my understanding of it is like it's different from Bangalore. and I think it's compared to Bangalore, like it's for me it's deeper, and so for that emotion like that comes naturally, that and that's usually some for some reason it's always stronger. Maybe it's because on everyday basis I talk to a lot of people in my village or something, but in Bangalore it's not that way. Uh,
Yeah.
a lot of day I don't talk to anybody. I just in my room because the culture is such that
Different.
you don't talk to your neighbors. And all my friends in Bangalore are like most of my friends are like friends from my village or my village or the same taluk. So again, like when we're talking, also it's again like the village sensibility. So uh, and like I visit my village often. So uh, is it the word is stimuli or whatever like that? I know what stimulates my thoughts, my emotions. It's more here. My film is like set in Bangalore because it's again it's very personal to me, and something happened in Bangalore with me. So now I can write about it because what happened and the people I talk to. So now I have a there's a it's good. I think I judge my work a lot. So while writing also I am always judging, like I have to like it first. Only then I can like make others read or like see it. Uh, so for Bangalore, I'm not getting a lot of stories because I'm not interacting with a lot of people. The people I interact with are like again like a set of my friends and maybe strangers once in a while. Maybe a shopkeeper or a Rapido bike driver, something like that. So, uh, considering like the number of ideas, like story ideas or something I get, are like lesser in Bangalore. I think it shouldn't be that way, but unfortunately, it is that way. Also, for me, uh, I love like outdoors. I when I'm like I want to watch a film and there's a poster with like some countryside lights, and I'm sold. I'll go and watch it. In Bangalore, I'm not getting that. Like, uh, so it's all mostly I'm in my room. So yeah, I read less like about Bangalore. Like I hope I write more.
Yeah, funnily enough, I can relate to that. Yeah, Lona, please.
Is it Lone or his friend?
It's
Yeah, I don't know. Rizwan or. Yeah.
so I can't believe I'm having a conversation like this with you. But the thing is, recently I was having a conversation with my friend, and I'm very enthusiastic about filmmaking and writing, and I had written FTIA exam and I didn't qualify, so I was very bummed out. I said I'll make films and like learn filmmaking like that instead of going to school and learning all these theories and everything. And she was saying that's not true. You can get a lot through film school, and I disagreed. It went on for like an hour-long conversation, like of like me taking the side of just make films. We are actually in the process of shooting just a 10-minute short film, and this is one of the first times I'm like in the process of like filmmaking, indulging myself, and it is taking a lot of effort. In fact, Lona is helping me edit the movie, and like I'm understanding how different things work, how camera is important, how that is important, this is important, and all of the courses I took for filmmaking did not teach me all of these minute things. So what would
True.
your take be? To be a filmmaker, should we just start with our phones and start taking videos, or go to FTIA or these elite colleges?
Just do it. I mean, like, you can go to film school. Film school helps in a way that I have, mixed opinion about it because, uh, say, like, making films, learning film language is like learning A, B, C, D to Z. So, film school will tell you, like, you'll give a syllabus from A to Z. You can learn. but we all they teach in a way that like at the end of the day a lot of people have the same voice. They say they are the same kind of film because it's in the syllabus. uh, but you learn all the things. You know about like cameras, lenses, how to stage and everything. In a way, like you can learn a lot in a short period of time. uh, Second is, I think they're not going to teach you like most crucial things that you can learn when you're like in a film school and you're learning filmmaking. They'll give you equipments. Don't have to struggle for it. There'll be funding for like you have like budget. You don't have to struggle for it. And all the people you're working with are like film students. You don't have to work with. So when you come to the, if you want to make a career as a filmmaker, when you come outside, things are not the same. And film school not going to teach that. The people you are going to work with, most of them are not from film school, and you might not get the same equipment that you asked for, and you have to change a lot of things. You have to improvise. I think those things you can learn only making films with a diverse group. So it's a, I think it's good to like have a do a diploma or something, a short-term course in film school, and come out and do some films on your own so that you have both experiences. I also wanted to go to film school, but for some reasons I didn't go. Uh, in a way, I'm happy I didn't go. In a way, I want to go because, say, like I said, no film learning say A to Z. I know I learned Y, then I came to A, then I learned D, then I learned E, then N, something like that. But film school, you learn A, B, C, D. So it's good. Like sometimes it kind of saves a lot of time. As the I think as long as you don't like like most of the film schools, they teach you how to go to film festivals, and you might not want to do that. You might want to like make like big films and release in theaters. So it's a very personal choice, but may having doing a short course in film school, like it's good, and then doing your own projects. But at the end of the day, filmmaking is less theory and more practical. So it's most of the time, if you want to like be a director and a director or something, it's mostly talking to people. And film schools don't, or any school don't teach that. It's you have to make more films and learn that. Now like I'm making my feature film, and I have certain fears because I don't know everything about all the cameras because I have not used high-end cameras. In film school, if I went to film school, I would have gotten hands-on experience with that. I don't have, but that's not necessary. If you get a good DOP, he knows it. You just have to like. It's a personal choice again. So it's a personal choice. But one thing I can say, you have to make films to learn like what it is. You have to shoot with people like just start like doing, maybe not with just with phone. It's a overrated statement when people say, oh no, you have phone, you can shoot. It doesn't work that way. You can make reels, and to make like really good film, phone is not something ideal. Just get a friend's camera and do it. It's a different thing. So just like start doing making films with whatever you have. I talk too much, but okay.
No, not at all. Thank you so much. Rizwan, you want to respond?
Yeah, thank you for that advice. It was very insightful. All the best for your future film. It's really been useful.
Yeah, sure. Or
Yes,
come and watch it in theater.
totally.
Thank you.
Any last questions? I'm guessing that we're all done. Thank you so much, Naveen, for coming and sharing so much with us. It was so useful. I will actually hand over the stage or whatever the screen to Lona for the official thanks message. Vote of thanks.
Am I visible? Okay. Sorry for the background. It's
Nice background.
yeah. My hostel room looks very weird, so I just put this on. Um, yeah, so yeah, I don't know where to begin. It like Rizwan mentioned, it was actually very strange and also very appropriate to, because just before this session, like 5 minutes before this session, I was almost done editing the short film that we made, and yeah, it was this talk. It felt like it just came after that and was just very enlightening, um, and we talked about so many important things. So first off, I want to thank Naveen for actually coming to this panel, and um, uh, our club is very new. It's hardly been a year since we started, and this is the last event of the academic year, and I don't know if there was a better way to close our session than by talking with someone who is involved in so many different creative practices. Like both, they're all interrelated, but it is very I don't have the word for it. I think there's a particular word that describes this. Filmmaking, writing, composing, photography, all of these creative practices, I think the way you embody them and the way you root them in the village, and also to and make and manage to make a larger commentary about the world using, while retaining the same humor and wit. It is very, very special, and I've always admired your work, and I'm a huge fan. It was wonderful to have you and at the last event that Sultan will be organizing. Um, and also a very special thanks to Anna for hosting the session. I'm not sure if she introduced herself. I don't remember if she introduced herself, but she's also a very, other than the fact that she's doing a PhD, she's also a very, very brilliant writer. And you can read her work. I don't think I have a list of her work, but if she is okay with it, she can put up the links to her few of her works on the chat. So yeah, so it was magical to hear two very creative people just talk to each other and exchange. We touched on many important things. We talked about caste, and we talked about decolonizing the English language that we speak, and the fact that it's probably English languages, because every region and every locality has its own form. And so to the things that we talked about, rooting the work, like someone else mentioned, rooting our work in the grassroots is very, very important. And I completely relate with what Naveen also talked about, planning art. Like I'm also someone who cannot for the life of me, like write like a content writer. Like I cannot produce creative work like a content writer. Like every day I will be producing 800 words. I cannot do that. It comes, it hits you, and then it takes shape. Like the idea takes shape, and then it becomes a thing. So I've always been jealous of people. I know quite a few people who are extremely good at like writing, churning words every single day, and it also, you can see that adds to their craft. But it was very reassuring to hear Naveen say that he's also someone who cannot do that, and it's still he still ends up making these wonderful pieces of art. So thank you so much. I would also like to thank all the members of Sultan's Creative Writing Club for making this happen, and also supporting us and keeping this club as lively as possible. We're trying our best to keep this going, and keep this going in a in as much as a rewarding way possible. So thank you, everyone. Um, did I forget to thank it? I don't think I need to thank the university particularly, because I didn't get any help from them. But yeah, so that makes
Thanks.
it.
I'm sorry. I just want to thank you also, Rona, because you're the main force that bring us all together. So yeah, I have to thank you for that too. Not just this, but all the other events as well. It's so nice, and I hope we can see Naveen in person in our university. Fingers crossed.
Yes, no, I think it should be easier now to inviting Mogo, and like hopefully from next semester we'll be able to have. Yeah, I'm also very excited to meet you in person. It's like been a long distance fan for a while. Yeah, so yeah, I think that is the end of the panel. If anyone has anything else to say, if anyone doesn't have anything else to say, we can just close off.
Thank you so much for doing this. I am like, I have not written so much. I'm like, why are they inviting me? I have written like three, four. Thank you so
That
much. There
is
are some
not
really
what matters.
brilliant
Anything you've
artists here.
written has like won awards, and like this very
Yeah,
substantial and
quality over quantity.
Uh, True, there are some amazing artists. Naswin takes amazing photos. Ishwari writes so well. Nitya writes. Pawnbati is starting writing. Lona Vandezan makes films. Anna writes amazingly. So many good artists. So, thanks so much.
Now, take
It's
credit. No, you
it's
don't
okay.
have to share it.
No, no. It's great to be around so
But
many artists.
yes,
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope it was not boring.
not
Not
at all.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. I can't sit through a boring meeting. So I hope it was
Yeah,
not boring.
same. No, not at all.
Mm, yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
See
you.
you. Good night. Have dinner. Enjoy. Enjoy. See
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
My grandma is making fish curry. I'm going. Bye.
Oh, my mom's
Okay.
making fish fry as well. Same pinch.
I am not close to my mother right now, so I don't think anyone's making fish curry.
We shall
I'll be
manifest
there
fish for
instead.
you in the future.
Yes. May everyone get good fish.
Yeah.
If you are in Bangalore, go to Maranalli Military Hotel. They make
Okay.
good kushka kebab.
Oh,
Corn but nose. Okay then. Bye bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye. Good
Bye
night.
bye.
bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye.